Tonight on News 5 Live, Belize pledges its support for Ukraine as Prime Minister John Briceño continues his extended working visits abroad. Daryl Alvarez is murdered in Gungulung. His family says his death is weed-related. And does Shine have a better chance returning to his music career than he does as the next Prime Minister? You'll hear what PM Briceño has to say on his latest act. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
I'm on my way to Benny's, where I can get what I need and save some money. After 75 years in the business, nobody do it like Benny's. Hello, how may I help you? Anything you need, we got you. Whether it tools or tiles, lights and fans, we are serving with a smile. Genuine plumbing and electric supply, quality construction supply, heating and air condition, 100% Belizean. Benny's, hey, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings, quality and savings. Benny's, hey, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings, hey, quality and savings. Benny's, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings, quality and savings.
Babe, have you seen the advisory that NEMA just posted? There's going to be a storm.
Storm? It's not a storm. That's just a little rain. We'll be all right.
Thank goodness that was only a simulation. But what if it wasn't? Consider this. You've worked hard building your future, your family, your business, your home. RF&G Insurance has policy options that can protect your most valued assets so that you can focus on what matters most. Include RF&G Insurance in your hurricane prep. Remember, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Road Group company.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, June 28th. I am Sabrina Daly. Prime Minister John Briceño continues his working visit to far-flung countries across the globe and is currently in Lisbon, Portugal for the United Nations Oceans Conference. Prior to his trip to Portugal, PM Briceño was in Belgium to participate in the European Development Days. He was also in Kigali, Rwanda for the Commonwealth Heads of Government Meeting 2022. At the conclusion of his trip to Portugal, Belize's head of government travels to Suriname to hand over the chairmanship of CARICOM. He will then call on President Irfan Ali in Guyana to discuss matters related to agriculture. We haven't heard from the Prime Minister since his departure on June 16th. That was until today, when he held a virtual press conference from Lisbon. The time in that capital city was 10 p.m., which was around 3 p.m. Belize time. He spoke on a number of issues which we will share in tonight's newscast. But first, he gave us an update on his working visits.
What we have done is that initially we had agreed to go to Rwanda because for the program, for the heads of government, the Commonwealth was an important meeting, and also we had the election of the election of the Secretary General. So it's important for Belize to be at that meeting and to be able to meet with our peers from, like, for instance, Canada, the UK, and other countries. But then an invitation came to us from the European Union to come to this conference that they had. There was, this is the first time that Prime Minister from Belize has been invited to this conference. So, and the EU is one of our biggest partners in development. For instance, they just approved 17 million euros for us to help us in different matters, in working in the rural areas, energy, and so forth. So it was felt that it was important for me to be able to attend that meeting, and at the same time, it was important for me to meet the people that are making the decisions as to whether they're going to help Belize or not. So I had a number of meetings, including with the European Development Bank, who is expressing interest in coming to Belize.
PM Briceño will also be hosting the Prince of Monaco, Prince Albert II, on Wednesday. According to PM Briceño, an estimated $50 million in potential funding will come to Belize as a result of his 3 weeks working visits.
I am now in Portugal now because of the Conference of the Oceans. And many of the countries, they want to hear from us of the successes that we've had, the issue of the blue bond. And whilst many people think about that we managed to get some sort of debt forgiveness and come up with a new blue bond for marine conservation, it is important also for them to understand that as a country, we also had to make some tough decisions. We had to get our public officers to cooperate with us with a salary cut. Ministers got also salary cut. We did increment freezes for the next 3 years. So people want to know about what we're doing. And we are also having other meetings. For instance, this morning, we had a meeting with the Nature Conservancy, with TNC, and also with TNC and the Bahamas, because they also want to see what they about the work that we're doing. Tomorrow we're going to have another meeting with I think with SIDS Doc, and there again we're looking of the possibility exists that we're going to get some funding to do an energy generation project in Kikaka and San Pedro. It is only by coming to these places that we can get these things done, and then we make contacts with other prime ministers. For instance, tomorrow, the foreign minister of Portugal is asking for a meeting with me, which I've already agreed to. I'm going to be hosting a meeting, slash cocktail with the Prince of Monaco tomorrow evening. And so there are a number of things that we've been doing. If you want to total of what we have done with a number, so far we have, you could say we will be getting about close to $50 million in funding from this trip, could potentially come from this trip, from the different countries and different programs that we have belonged to.
The president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, tweeted that he had a first productive meeting with Prime Minister John Bersenio. In his tweet, the Ukrainian president said, quote, "The first but productive contact with Prime Minister of Belize John Bersenio agreed on the support for Ukraine in the UN and its regional platforms. I count on Belize joining the sanctions, refusing to register new Russian vessels and deregistering old ones," unquote. Here is what PM Bersenio told reporters about his meeting with President Zelensky.
The president is the one that requested for that meeting, and we were happy to meet with them. Belize feels very strongly that a citizen should have the right to self-determination. And we believe that the invasion into Ukraine by Russia is illegal, and they're asking for our support. We promised that we could give whatever support that we can afford, of course, diplomatically. We've also asked that to look at our ship registry. We have agreed that we will not register any more Russian ships, and that if there's anywhere that we can assist with some of the funding or illegal monies that some of the Russian oligarchs have been moving, and if there's any within going through our system, that we would put a stop to it. So far as we know, no such thing has happened.
On Tuesday in Lisbon, Prime Minister John Bersenio addressed an assembly of world leaders during the second plenary session of the United Nations Ocean Conference. Co-hosted by the government of Kenya and Portugal, the summit comes at a critical juncture as the world is seeking to address many of the deep-rooted problems of our societies uncovered by the COVID-19 pandemic. In speaking to the gathering, PM Bersenio also touched on the need to address carbon dioxide emissions.
This conference is being convened at a critical time as nations, large and small alike, continue to face the existential threat being caused by climate change, a once-in-a-century pandemic, global inflation, disruption of the supply chains, food and energy insecurity, and now the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Today, we must recognize the need for more definitive collective actions and solutions if we are to ensure the health and functionality of our oceans and the economic recovery and survival of our people. Now more than ever, we must preserve our oceans through targeted protection like overfishing, marine pollution, and the destruction of marine habitats. Already, ocean warming is contributing to an unprecedented loss of marine biodiversity. This threatens these highly unique ecosystems, which support the billions of our people who rely on our oceans for their livelihoods. Therefore, we must together tackle the crisis of climate change and biodiversity loss, protect natural ecosystems, and restore the immediate and far-reaching decarbonization of the global economy. COP26 saw intense deliberations but resulted in watered-down decisions. While optimistic promises were made to slash emissions, governments continue to approve new extraction projects that highly contribute to CO2 emissions, now referred to as carbon bombs.
Homing in on Belize's efforts, PM Briceño spoke about the country's debt restructuring for Marine Conservation Initiative, which is touted as the largest undertaking of its kind in the world.
So amidst a climate crisis, we are on track to blow up our global carbon budget and trigger even more catastrophic levels of climate events. Simply put, we are about to ignite the carbon bomb. In Belize, we are doing our part to protect the ocean, and I am proud to lead a government that is advancing innovative and ambitious policies to ensure that current and future generations can benefit from its resources. Belize is also delivering through the world's largest debt restructuring for marine conservation, which we announced in partnership with the Nature Conservancy in November 2021. Consequently, like most small developing states, the realization of these global targets has been constrained by the lack of financing. Despite global commitments for climate financing and conservation, only a fraction has been made available to the small island developing states, yet billions will be spent on projects directly undermining our target of 2 degrees. Since November, my government has delivered on our first 2 commitments, including the expansion of our marine protected areas and the designation of all public lands within the Belize Barrier Reef Reserve System World Heritage Site as mangrove reserves.
Coming up, life in prison and lengthy sentences for Ramon Cervantes' killers.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "For the Lord saith not as man saith, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart." In the 2016 presidential election in the United States, the Republican candidate was often criticized for his remarks pertaining to the appearance of certain women. He referred to former Miss Universe Alicia Machado from Venezuela as Miss Housekeeping and Miss Piggy when she gained weight after winning the beauty pageant. His remarks proved to be most hurtful and painful, and I could not help but think of the old proverb, "Beauty is only skin deep." It was originally introduced by Sir Thomas Overbury in a poem, A Wife in 1613, in which he said, "All the carnal beauty of my wife is but skin deep." The proverb suggests that a person's character is more important than how they look, and that external attractiveness is no guide to a real person's character. A person may be beautiful on the outside, but have an ugly heart and soul on the inside. Appearances are deceptive and superficial. Physical beauty is not the measure of the worth of a person. True beauty lies within. In 1966, the Temptations sang a song, "Beauty is only skin deep, so in love sad as could be, 'cause a pretty face got the best of me. Suddenly you came into my life and gave it meaning and pure delight. Now good looks I've learned to do without, 'cause now I know it's love that really counts." So remember, you can't tell a book by its cover, and that God looks on the heart. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Annual Primary School Essay Competition is here again. Standards 4, 5, and 6 students, it's time to get creative. Here's how you can participate. Your essay must be no more than 500 words and explain what BEL's Safety and Health Week theme means to you. Every life counts. Be responsible. Be alert. Buckle up. Obey safety rules. 12 prizes will be awarded. $2,000 for all schools with first place winners. A laptop plus $1,000 for first place winners. A laptop plus $750 for second place winners. A laptop plus $500 for third place winners. Standards 4, 5, and 6 students, submit your essays by Friday, July 8th, 2022 to safety@bel.com.bc. Visit BEL's Facebook page for more information on our annual primary school essay competition.
From the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
A weed seller who migrated from Supal Street to Gungulung was executed on Monday night by someone familiar to him. It is believed that the murder of Darrell Alvarez was the result of an altercation earlier in the day over monies owed to him for the sale of marijuana. When he stepped out of his house to go and fill 2 buckets of water, he was met by someone who was calling him at the front gate. A short while later, gunshots would ring out near the community pipe. News 5's Isani Cayetano reports.
When 35-year-old Darrell Alvarez changed his mind and decided to fetch water from the public faucet a few houses down from where he lived in the set-side area of Gungulung, he did not foresee his demise. Neither did his siblings.
They in the house with his daughter. He go and fill 2 buckets of water. So he come out. When he come out, one young boy holla for him. Like the how he change the direction. Boy, why go? Because he usually fill water across my sister. And that when he holla for him, tell her, the certain person that they lay in the hill, that when he walk off, say, well, I go and fill water that they lane.
Prior to drawing water from the stand, Alvarez met up with someone. That individual, according to his sister, owed him money for a consignment of marijuana. Selling weed was Alvarez's livelihood.
He don't know a person where work, if I say, well, every 15 he got to a paycheck for coming. So for him, pay for him maintain for every picnic, he sell weed. So when he sell weed, he like, he got friends where I come buy 1/2 ounce and then they pay him the money. When they get make for a profit, they pay him when he tell them for pay and then they keep the profit after day. So they got this young man, he get the weed, sell the weed, no one pay the money. When he no one pay the money, my brother gone out and because the time don't pass, he pay the weed. So my brother gone out after 3 hours, the time don't pass, he pay the weed money, bring the money.
That demand reportedly ended with an exchange of words between Alvarez and the unidentified individual, during which threats were leveled. When he was informed that the same person was at this open lot a short distance away from the pipe, Alvarez may have presumed that the debt would have been paid. Much to the contrary.
3 persons done there through the alley that a big field, the wait for him. But when he reached him, for him, the defense that was stick. So he then we have a little hard talk. But when he look like when he turn it back, for put on the pipe that when they get the upper hand and just shatter. I don't know in the back in the head weapon and shatter, but I think that 3 shot and shatter.
The incident, Kimberly Alvarez insists, was not provoked by gang activity.
Then a friend, every day they come buy weed, every day they encounter. This don't got nothing to do with no gang, nothing. This don't got to do with this one fool will get my brother weed and don't want to pay the money and think that for him not pay the money, he take my brother life. That's the way I got to tell him, he is a fool because he every day you pass, you call my mama, evening mommy, evening you got the heart to pull the trigger. But that same lady, you bid every day, bid the time of the day to you pull the trigger for my brother.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Life in prison for 27-year-old Noe Gonzalez after pleading guilty to the murder of Ramon Cervantes Sr. in July 2014. The 71-year-old was killed and disposed of in a shallow grave in the Honey Camp area of Orange Walk District. Gonzalez's accomplices, those who were arrested and charged along with him, also pleaded guilty to manslaughter. Angel Cardenas and Mateo Pot Jr. were both sentenced to 21 years in prison for their roles in the homicide. In Gonzalez's case, he will not be eligible for parole until he has served 26 years of that judicial punishment. A fourth suspect fled the jurisdiction in the wake of the murder and remains a fugitive for justice. Today's sentencing brings closure to the Cervantes family. In March, News 5 spoke with Orange Walk North Area Representative Ramon Monchi Cervantes Jr. At the time, the Minister of State said that the family anticipated stiff and long sentences in order for the punishment to befit the heinous crime that was committed against their father. How much does relapsing into crime occur in Belize, and how much of it has to do with the treatment from people in the justice system, law enforcement, and rehabilitation? That's what is currently under research in Belize. Dr. Terence Aladdin is here from Lebanon Valley College in Pennsylvania, USA, and today he made a presentation to a cross-section of stakeholders from the Belize Police Department, the Belize Central Prison, and the Magistracy, among others. News 5's Marian Ali stopped in to see how the professor's interfacing and research can improve this situation in Belize. Here's her report.
Belize's recidivism rate is said to be very low, a good reflection of the Belize Central Prisons and the Colby Foundation's system of treating prisoners. And if the interfacing that criminal justice professor Dr. Terence Aladdin engages in with the people in our justice system proves to be effective, the number of repeat offenders we record as a country is likely to fall even lower.
Belize is unique in that it has one prison for the entire country. And so every inmate that commits a crime in Belize ends up in this prison. So it makes it a lot easier to study. We need to have relationships between the police and the courts and corrections and the citizens. Citizens need to be involved. Citizens need to see that the police are not the enemy, and the police need to see that not every citizen they reach is a suspect or, So those are the things that we need to change.
The only correctional facility in Belize, the Belize Central Prison, has employed the concept that everything is dependent on relationships, and that sometimes means there is a need for reform.
You need that human rights approach to dealing with criminality. If you have to change behaviors, you have to look at it from a responsible and relationship point of view. So once the police has a good relationship with the community, then the community is going to cooperate. Our thing is really to try and rehabilitate the offender. That is where our emphasis is on, rather than being punitive. Of course, that doesn't prevent us from disciplining a prisoner if they step out of line.
The Belize Police Department has drawn regular criticisms for unjustified use of force, or simply put, police brutality. That is one culture that needs to be changed.
We are soon to launch our multi-sectoral crime prevention and crime control strategic plan. And part of it would require police reform. And we know there will be a need to address the culture within the police department, because the new approach we want to go, there will be a need for a cultural change. It is not something that can be fixed overnight.
The professor's engagements come through 2 years of previous work with Galen University, which offers a 4-year course in criminal justice.
Dr. Aladdin wants to do work in Belize, do further research in Belize, and we're collaborating with him, and we hope that he will do a sabbatical with us at Galen University next year.
Why did Galen see this so important?
We recognize that we could, because of our network and our criminal justice program, we could assist him in the process, and we recognize that what he's trying to do is important, and it's something that all Belizeans would value.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
A trio of men, including Oscar Caratea, Dennis Matos, and Rene Zetina, has been arrested and charged for the offense of kept firearm without a gun license and kept ammunition without a gun license. The men were busted on Sunday night by police on mobile patrol on Figaro Street in San Ignacio. They were traveling in a red Geo Prism without a license plate. When the vehicle was pulled over, a search was conducted which yielded a 9mm Jericho brand pistol and matching round on the seat of the car. The occupants of the vehicle were asked to produce a license for the firearm, but they were unable to do so. After the break, PM Briceño justifies damages in Commission of Inquiry's lawsuit as technical errors. Details when we return.
The way things are going, she'll call an election tomorrow where you think, well, you didn't get right back in because do people see a coherent opposition? No.
Is the opposition weak?
Yes. Of course it is weak. My heart grieves for my party, but most of all for my country. I wish the UDP well, and I think where my son is concerned, if we're going to be honest, why a sad state of affairs currently exists in the United Democratic Party.
Belize's National Protected Areas system includes 103 different sites. Of those, 14 are marine protected areas, accounting for over 1,600 square miles of the nation's territory. This vital seascape runs the length of Belize and includes critical spawning and aggregate sites, wildlife habitats, mangrove forests, and natural monuments, including 3 of the only 4 atolls in the Western Hemisphere. Belize's marine protected areas hold a significant place in the nation's economic and social well-being. The Protected Areas Conservation Trust supports the effective management of all of Belize's national protected areas, including our marine protected areas. Over its 25-year history, PACT has invested in several areas of support for Belize's marine protected areas, including enforcement, supporting community livelihoods, expansion, research, and other areas of support valuing over $6.8 million. Since 2019, PACT has invested over $1.19 million in the Turnef Atoll Marine Reserve alone.
The Turnef Atoll Marine Reserve was established in legislation in 2012. As the official co-manager, we have an agreement with the government of Belize through the Belize Fisheries Department to be able to do the day-to-day management of the Turnef Atoll Marine Reserve.
At just over 325,000 acres, the Turnef Atoll Marine Reserve is the largest in Belize's marine reserve network. This area holds significant cultural and economic value for many Belizeans.
The Turnef Atoll Marine Reserve supports $500 million Belize dollars in revenue generation annually. This is split up in $382 million in shoreline protection that comes from the seagrass, the mangroves, and the coral reefs, buffering any natural events to Belize City and surrounds. Then you have about $5 to $7 million in commercial fishery that comes from conch, lobster, and finfish. There is blue carbon that we have estimated, an estimated value of about $7 million in blue carbon. As Belizeans, we are tied to our natural resources. Most of us grow up around the sea, and even if you live in the capital, you're a mile away from the sea, or you have gone to Placencia in the south, or Hopkins, or and you've enjoyed those beaches. And so there is an intrinsic cultural value. The PAC investment has been the core and the backbone of our innovative work that we have been doing there, because without PAC support, we would not have survived COVID. PAC has supported our operations, especially on the ground with our 16 officers that we have there. They, in many cases, they funded the full salaries. In some cases, we matched the salaries. They also funded a big portion of the fuel and maintenance for the Turnef Atoll Marine Reserve. Many times people want things to get done, but it is only with organizational support like that from PAC that we actually have people who will take the grants that we get for the programmatic work, and the PAC has provided the warm bodies to actually do the work.
PAC has also provided a $150,000 cost extension for continued enforcement.
PAC has extended the program of work with us, and that is very welcome, because we are in a critical stage right now in which we are ramping all of this up, and we are seeing the revenue generation come in slowly. Our interest in working with PACT is to create a model for as many of the protected areas where this model could work.
PACT's work in the Turniff Atoll Marine Reserve represents only a portion of the demonstrated commitment to Belize's marine protected areas. Elsewhere, additional investments have gone into improved and continued enforcement, improved research capacity, and improved management of Belize's marine protected areas, all in an effort to enhance the quality of life for all Belizeans, now and in the future. PACT, investing in people and protected areas.
That our benefit are we the people supposed to pay?
The funding you pay now, but when you get old, you got funding for college, for your future.
If you miss some days from work, they should have compensated for that.
As an artist, I'm not really sure because I work for myself.
What is Social Security? Social Security is not a tax. Social Security is a very small investment in you, the worker. It's an investment that you can count on now or in the future. It is designed to replace part of your income from wages when you get sick, get injured on the job, have a baby on the way, become disabled, or even when you pass away. And even then, the widow and your kids, if under 16 years or under 21 years and in school, obtain survivor's pension. And after a lifetime of working, you can rest assured you will have a monthly retirement income. Social Security, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Compostable plastics. To understand what a compostable plastic is, we need to know that composting is a natural way to recycle decomposed organic material like oranges or banana peels. So, a compostable plastic is similar to the banana peel in the sense that it also undergoes biological decomposition in a compost site and doesn't leave any toxic residue. In fact, it breaks down into carbon dioxide, water, inorganic compounds, and biomass at a similar rate of compostable materials. This is great because once properly disposed of, compostable plastic food packaging would be broken down in a manner much kinder to the environment compared to plastics. The recycled materials would return to Earth quickly and safely as soil when disposed of in the right environmental conditions and temperatures. It's important to note that for decomposition to occur, all compostable products must reach a sanitary landfill where there is proper management of the waste through disposal and treatment. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 police teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 believes on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time, and so are we.
We'll now take you back to the Prime Minister's virtual press conference from Portugal, where he also responded to questions on the selection of a new Chief Justice of Police. The United Democratic Party has been up in arms over the selection of Guyanese national Justice Louise Blenman as the proposed Chief Justice of Police. The leader of the opposition is of the belief that acting Chief Justice Michelle Arana should have been given the position. Well, PM Briceño argues that the process was transparent, adding that acting Chief Justice Michelle Arana would have undergone the same vetting process if she had applied for the position.
It was a very open and transparent process. I don't think the previous government ever had as a transparent process as we did. As you know, we have restructured the entire justice system. We want to have a more effective and efficient justice system. And so we now advertise for that post. We advertise both locally and internationally. And with the Attorney General set up a team of her peers from the Bar Association to interview all those that applied. As what I was told, 8 persons applied. For one reason or the other, acting Justice Arana did not apply. So the bar could only interview those that have applied. If Justice Arana, acting Justice Arana would have applied, should have gone through the very same process. When that process finished, that's when the Attorney General then came to me and said, this is the recommendation that was made by the bar. There was no political interference. And I think that is what you all should look at, and the importance that there is no political interference. We know in the previous government, there was a lot of political interference into the court system. We promised that we are not going to do that, and we're keeping to our word.
In that regard, are you able to speak about the offer that's been made to her to elevate her to a position on the Court of Appeal?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of like an offer. There are openings in the Court of Appeals, and she expressed interest in the Court of Appeal. So, as far as I know, as I said, I have never had any such discussion with Justice Arana. The recommendation was made that about her going to the Court of Appeal, and I accepted that recommendation.
Reporters also got a chance to ask the Prime Minister if he was able to catch the Leader of the Opposition's performance at the BET Awards that Belizeans all over are talking about. Well, as we have told you, PM Briceño has been busy with his working visits. As a result, he says he did not see the performance. He did, however, tell us that he thinks Barrow stands a better chance at returning to his rap career than becoming the Prime Minister of Belize.
No, I did not see. I have been busy, you can understand. Right now, here in Lisbon, it's almost 10 o'clock at night. My first meeting started this morning at 8:30. So I've been just from meeting to meetings all day long. But we all know that that's what the leader of the opposition aspires for, to be back on the stage to rap. I think he has a better chance of becoming a successful rapper, a better chance of doing that than becoming the Prime Minister of Belize.
Prime Minister Briceño also gave a response to the ruling made by Justice Lisa Showman in the case brought against the Commission of Inquiry into the fire sale of government assets. As we reported, former Deputy Prime Minister Ugo Pat was awarded $145,000 in damages as a consequence of the Commission's findings and their published report. Well, PM Briceño sums up the loss to a technical error. He is now intent on having the ruling appealed.
As you know that after this case, the Attorney General will come to us and make a recommendation whether we should appeal the case. I believe it's excessive, but that's as far as I would go. And I think what we are forgetting here, that these people are getting away, not because they're innocent, they're getting away because of a technical issue, a technical process that was not followed. They're not saying that they're not guilty, They're saying we were not given due process to come to represent ourselves. And it is because of that technical error, they are being compensated. But unlike the previous government, I will not bash the courts. What we'll do, we'll follow the process. I will listen to the advice of the Attorney General, and if the advice is for us to appeal that case, we will appeal. I do hope that that the recommendation is for us to appeal the case.
Cabinet has not met for the past 3 weeks, and it is not expected that they will meet until Prime Minister Briceño returns to the country. So, did the PM leave Acting Prime Minister Cordell Hyde with instructions to not call any cabinet meetings in his absence? PM Briceño says that is not the case. According to the Prime Minister, while the need to hold a cabinet meeting in his absence has not arisen, Acting PM Hyde can call a cabinet meeting at any time.
If the Acting Prime Minister feels the need to have a cabinet meeting, he knows that he can have a meeting. So far, he has not said anything to me whether he believes that there should be a meeting at this moment. Before I left, we worked until about 5 o'clock, from about 9 to 5 o'clock, trying to clear up almost all of the issues that we had in front of us. So that's a decision for the Acting Prime Minister. But maybe what is important and what is you overlooking? Do you remember how many meetings, how many cabinet meetings took place in the past 13 years of the UDP without then Prime Minister Barrow?
No, sir.
One meeting in 13 years. And I have been reliably informed that when that happened, half of the cabinet did not show up in a form of protest against the then Acting Prime Minister. Here I am now, 1 year and a half, and you're trying to make an issue that there's no cabinet meetings because I am not in the country.
As we have been reporting, public officers are getting their 10% salary reduction reinstated as of July 1st. This comes as good news to government workers across the country who have had to endure the COVID-19 pandemic and rising inflation rates with 10% less of their salaries. In the negotiations between the joint unions and the government of Belize leading up to the salary cut back in 2021, there were talks about a performance bonus option for public officers. The government committed to making millions of dollars in funds available to workers based on how well the economy recovered. Well, according to PSU President Dean Flowers, that performance bonus option was taken off the table, a move he describes as, quote, dishonest and a lack of integrity.
The government
informed us clearly, Marlene, despite the Prime Minister, and this is the dishonesty of the people that we deal with, and the lack of integrity, the Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance was frank. What we gave you on May the 12th, on May the 13th, what the Prime Minister presented to this country on May the 12th, 2021, was nothing merely than a commitment. That is not a binding agreement. And so we're not honoring that where the performance bonus is concerned. Because remember, the budget, the results are, the actuals superseded the budget. And so we would have need to revisit the formula to be able to make a declaration on whether or not public officers would have been afforded that $60 million in distribution. And he was clear, that is not a binding document. That was just one of our commitments. As a matter of fact, everything in there is a mere commitment from us. So that is off the table. So we'll see what happens, and then they came back that, okay, we'll restore you on January 1st.
So what happens now? You accept your 10% and you go back to full day?
Yeah, well, we didn't accept the cut. So they did what they informed us that they are mandated to do. And now Cabinet took a decision, again, Cabinet dictatorship, we're going to give back 10, and you're going back to 8, until public officers understand that this kind of dictatorship will continue until they take ownership of the public service and of their own selves. Then what can we do? We get back with 10% and we go back to work 8 o'clock. This is the passiveness, this is the type of society that we're raising.
When we return, Yaakshe Conservation Trust hosts BioBlitz 2022.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Ma, you really can't get a mannequin for this, ma? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buying my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on, turn on, turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
Looking for that perfect gift for your dad or grad? Then spoil them with a Samsung. The awesome and affordable phone lineup starts as low as $369 and includes the Galaxy A03 Core, A03s, A12, A13, A22, A23, A33, A52s, A53, S20 FE, S21 FE, and even the Tab A7 Lite and Tab A7 LTE. Shop with confidence, knowing that when you purchase from an authorized Samsung reseller, you enjoy 1-year local warranty with your purchase. So what are you waiting for? Head over to any of Samsung's official partners, including Sun in the World, Digi, Divari, Raju Store, and WestTrack this month, and give your dad or grad an awesome Samsung phone or tablet.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
On Monday, we told you about Mexican tourism officials visiting Belize to meet with government ministers and their Belizean counterparts from the tourism and transport industries. Today, the Embassy of Mexico held another press conference, this time at the Mexican Institute in Belize City, where representatives from the health sector in Mexico are looking to expand the networking between both countries. From August 24th to the 28th, 2022, a conference takes place in Cozumel, and Belizean medical companies and professionals are expected to join counterparts from Mexico, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, and elsewhere.
Tour have a big congress in Cozumel Island. Participate more than 500 businessmen from all Mexico. We are very interested in the Belizean companies participate in this big congress for make this big relationship. We have 17 conference. We have tables for make networking, and the idea is how can make distribution of the tourists, all the Yucatan Peninsula with Belize, and the tourists from Belize to all the Yucatan Peninsula.
There are a number of Belizeans who travel for services at medical facilities in neighboring Mexico. Some would journey as far as Merida, Cancun, and even Mexico City. The goal is not only to retain that business, but also to look at the feasibility of building a Mexican private medical facility also in Belize, as part of a network of hospitals. At the head table was a representative from Grupo Médico Joya, as well as Galenia Hospital, which has established itself as one of the go-to medical institutions for Belizeans.
For medical attention accreditations, running by Joint Commission International, which is from United States, Accreditation Canada International from Canada, the General Health Council of Mexico, and we have a newest one, which is AENOR. And this certification or accreditation runs all the protocols for the COVID patients, which is what it matters now. We are the only hospital in the entire country with this new accreditation. So we've been working with Belize already for 8 years. We've been, serving patients from Belize, our brothers from Belize, and I've been, personalizing all these patients that we have been working with. We offer services such as cardiology, neurosurgery, orthopedics, spine treatments, oncology treatments, nuclear medicine, and all the specialties in infrastructure that sometimes in Belize you don't have. So we are always assisting you all guys. We have the priceless and the honor to work with some of your doctors here in Belize, and they have been, the confidence to send us your patients so we can assist them as much as we can. Okay. And the good news is that Galenia, the owners of Galenia decide to work together with Belize, and we have good plans to grow our brand here very, very soon.
Nuestra intención de estar aquí en Belize.
Our intentions of being here in Belize is to make strategic alliances that allows us to attend to the medical needs of guests and visitors also from Belize. There is an opportunity to see the possibility of bringing a new hospital, a new unit of Joya Hospital to Belize that allows to have a third-level hospital with necessary specialties. Approximately each of our hospitals attends 35 specialties.
Medical tourism aside, one of the primary reasons Belizeans travel to Mexico is for the cheaper prices for medical services and medication. With these private hospitals having an interest in setting up in Belize, would it mean that costs will also go up?
Doctors that we can send to Belize, they will charge exactly the same cost of the consultation or the well, not procedure but consultation that we charge in Mexico. The prices will be, as you mentioned, we are cheaper than Belize in some of the cases, and the cost will be the same for you. Actually, in our hospital, we have like our Belize wing, that's what we call, and we offer the same cost and the same services that we have for our local patients in Cancun, as well for our partners in Belize. We work with your insurance company as well, so when people from Belize have this insurance, we already have these agreements with them, and we accept your insurance as well.
And why normally is more expensive the cost of the medicine here than Mexico or than Quintana Roo? It's part of many things. It's part not only have the specialists here, it's part of the cost of the rent, the cost of the sale, the properties, it's the cost of the the construction. A building is more expensive than Mexico, or it's part of the taxes for importation for medical equipment, and normally is not do the hospitals win more money. It's part of the process.
During the pandemic, Galenia Hospital has been providing virtual consultations to patients. There's more news after the break, so don't go away.
When all hope is lost and the days ahead look grim, we find ourselves looking for someone to shake things up, rescue us, and point us in the right direction. What if the one we've been waiting for has been here all along? Join us for our new series, Troublemaker, as we learn about a man who wasn't afraid to stand up for what's right to make this world a better place.
Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi.
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
The Yaakshay Conservation Trust held its annual bioblitz over the weekend in southern Belize with special focus on bees, birds, mammals, macro-inverts, and trees. The nonprofit organization chose the theme Empowering Communities, Conserving Biodiversity, Connecting the World for the two-day exercise. Described as a worldwide event, it featured 68 youth from 5 communities who spent a 24-hour period finding and identifying different types of these animals and trees. The following is a clip that the organization released.
We're here at the Golden Stream Corridor Preserve, and we will be engaging youth primarily from the buffer communities around the protected areas. And so we're happy to have people around learning about protected areas and also specifically about the wildlife that is found within the Blading Nature Reserve and the Golden Stream Corridor Preserve.
Yaakshay informed that the youth recorded over 1,000 observations and identified 220 types of animals, trees, and freshwater macro-invertebrates. A new species of bee, known as the carpenter bee, was also recorded.
1 million species on this planet, and these species are facing threats from climate change, habitat loss, invasive species, and other things. So events like this, where you go out and record species, are really critical to actually helping to improve the knowledge that we have of the species in the first place. And second of all, we hope to really engage community members to be able to build their knowledge of the species around them and inspire them to be able to do conservation work like this in the future.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.